Every trade has a buyer and a seller. And remember, I bought Bitcoin back when it was $30 and it went right down to $2 shortly thereafter. Now it's 26.6K at that time. Cryptocurrencies have done 90% dips over and over. It's not new. So let's talk about this ecosystem for real right now. So PulseChain ecosystem has a nice weekly close finally here this past week. Moves up above, quad zeros and a 4. We're up above that even now. I DCA'd the other day at like 4.1. We've gone up, above that. Now we have a little wee bit of a pullback so far. What do you think the chances are? And look, this isn't advice to anybody. Obviously, we're just two schmucks on the internet here. But are you comfortable? I'll just ask it this way for yourself, Ewok. If you are DCAing, which you are, I am, whatever, into this ecosystem, are you comfortable with the thought in your head? What percentage-wise would you think to yourself, yeah, I'm confident the bottom is in at this point? Yeah, that's the question, I guess.
Okay, I'm confident enough that we're close, that I actually did even DCA in some today. Right earlier before the stream. The gas prices were a little higher than I wanted to pay. When I moved things over the bridge, but again, I wanted to get it done and take care of it. I think we're close enough. And if not, if it goes down a little bit more, then I've got a little bit more powder left to keep going. So, I'm not too concerned. Anytime I see 4 zeros on anything that I'm strong on, I wanted to catch the 5 zeros on the Pulse X, but I didn't. I wasn't ready for it essentially, so I missed out on that opportunity. But I think seeing 4 zeros and some low numbers. Don't forget the hex low was 0.0005655, and how many millionaires that ended up making out of people that happened to get in on day 33, so or day 34 or 26, or what I mean.
Right.
So I think we're close enough to that area that I think we're in good shape. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. But like I said, if it does go down more, then we'll be ready to dollar cost in again and get more of a position.
Well, and that's kind of the, people sometimes parody like the value of dollar cost averaging. I mean, part of the value of it is just what you just said, that psychological benefit of like, well, I bought here, I bought here, I bought here. I didn't ape at any one point because that's going to make your blood pressure go up, whenever,
right.
Frankly, when it moves any direction sometimes. So it's just kind of calm you down also. And it can be very hard, the whole catching a falling knife thing. I mean, you just mentioned Pulse X with 5 zeros. Hey, I think I probably had 1 or 2 small buys at that price, but boy, I mean, again, we're not totally out of the woods yet, but that's hard to make those buys, especially with Pulse X and just all of the narrative and FUD and people shitting on it over the last few weeks and stuff like that. We've really only seen, we've talked about this, but that ratio Pulse to Pulse X has only gone to 1 to 4. It's not like it's gone to some, ratio trading days of 1 to 7 or something. That would be disastrous looking. That would be like, maybe I should rotate some of my Pulse into Pulse X or something. But my point is, it is hard to make those buys when it doesn't seem like there's a floor. And sometimes you have to say, well, this is when I need to do it. And I agree with that. But if the chart does not look like if it looks like it's in a perpetual downtrend, it can be nerve-wracking to do so. That's why I understand nobody should feel any shame if like now they're, I don't want to say aping in, but if they're more comfortable in their DCAs now. We've got a little bit of breathing room, especially if we start to find support here at this 4 number for Pulse. I think, we close a couple of weeks green or whatever. I understand people being more comfortable, and you haven't missed the opportunity yet. Again, it's still 2023. We're barely up off the lows. So
yeah, and now that Johnny's here, we can go back and mention that the liquidity pairs are all tied together. So when they start to go up, it's going to drag everything with it,
right.
And it's just part of what we're waiting for. And like I said, I think we're close. I think, you could have another pullback. We're going to see some We're going to see some pumps, two steps forward, one step back, maybe two steps back to even, whatever it is. But we've got time, so we take advantage of it. And, now's the time to tell your friends about this wonderful network that we call PulseChain, and start onboarding people. You want to get them in now at these rates rather than at the top when everybody's miserable then again for 3 years because they didn't make any money.
Yeah, if there's anything that you can pass on to any of your friends that you're maybe onboarding into crypto or just generally talk to about crypto, make sure it's that they understand the experience you just had for the last couple of years, because it is not always a fun one. That leads me into the tweet from Richard the other day. I forget who I was watching today. There were so many good streams and stuff today. Denise in the chat pointed that out earlier. And I was watching somebody, and I agreed 100%. I think it might have been Matty Allen last night, which that was a great stream with Axis and all those guys. But
I didn't catch it last night.
Oh, it was very, very good. But I think it was Matty that highlighted that. So let me just read Richard's tweet from over the weekend. He said, when Bitcoin is down 62% and Ethereum is down 68%, your coin might be down too. I wonder what he's talking about. Remember when I called the top publicly years ago? Remember when ETH dropped about 95% from around $1,500 to $80 in 2018? Now it's $1,600. How much did you load up on that 95% dip? You'd be sitting at 20x your stack right now, even after the 68% dip from $5,000 to here. Ask yourself, who were the people selling back then and who were the people buying? Every trade has a buyer and a seller. And remember, I bought Bitcoin back when it was $30 and it went right down to $2 shortly thereafter. Now it's 26.6K at that time. Cryptocurrencies have done 90% dips over and over. It's not new. Maddie speculated that this was kind of a point to like the bottom is in, or like we're about to move up from here. And sorry if it wasn't Maddie, it was somebody on that stream. But I want to give your because you would imagine he's talking about some of the products that he helped create, and he is right about that. I mean, like all of these tokens are down in crypto right now, just at slightly varying degrees. But what do you make of that tweet, Ewok? And do you think it was kind of a signifier that possibly we're about to go up? Because here we are 3 days later, and we are. So
yep. That's exactly what I read into it when I read it. It reminded me of the top call because he never really called the top.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned, and I don't remember the post exactly, but he said something about when did Bitcoin fall out of its parabola? Oh, now, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I forget how he worded it, but whatever. He never actually said today's the top.
Yeah.
But he worded, he doesn't want to influence markets over, by saying today's top. But he wants people to understand what he's saying. And I think that was his way of exactly, Johnny just said it. That was a warning, get off your butts kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I went to click on his thing and you posted.
Give it to me, Arthur.
Yeah,
well, out of context, it sounds bad. But, anyway.
But yeah, I think that was his warning. I totally agree. That's how I read it. And, it's funny because I was one of those guys that saw that $80 price and loaded up. And then turn around and used it for the adoption amplifier for Hex. Bingo. So, I don't have any of it left, but I got a great deal. And for the price of it and what we got at that time, it turned out pretty darn good. So, yeah, I remember those $80 Ethereum days. And, again, I think it was his warning to say, hey, guys, wake up. This isn't going to be here much longer. So.
And that is what you just illustrated is one thing I love about the way RH communicates, because, this whole, like a lot of people are acting like, he's not speaking as much now, or maybe he's saying these things in a veiled manner because of the SEC thing or whatever. I think like you just said it yourself about calling the top, which was all coming up on 2 years ago. Well, depending upon which top we mean, basically.
No, it was the first one. He called it in April. Excuse me.
So
that was
2.5 years ago.
Yeah, April of what? 2021. 21. Yeah.
So but essentially, he's done that kind of tongue-in-cheek way of saying things for a while, and that I do like that, and I like that from a lot of people if they choose to convey things like that. Like, don't feed, it's like, do you want to watch a movie that airmails every little thing? Like, hey, do you get it? He's been alive. He's been dead the whole time. Or, you don't want to be led along like that necessarily. So I do like that he does that. What do you make of this whole thing too? Because all we heard, okay, last month, the first couple of weeks of September here is September's going to be a red month. Rosh Hashanah or Christmas or one of these holidays, I don't know what it is ending in this month. And when that ends, this is going to happen. There's a full moon. And my tarot cards say, there's all this shit that it was like September is going to be a red month. And I love that we haven't really seen that yet. Now it is the 20th, so I reserve the right to look like an asshole, and you can chop this up and edit it however you want. But things are looking good right now. And I mean, I'm again focusing on our ecosystem, but as usual, everybody's saying one thing. Let's look the other way so far. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's not over yet. And I think it's the comment is more historically September is rough.
Right.
Most of the time, unless we're in a full-blown bull market, which I remember September of 2017 was pretty amazing. September of 2020 was pretty darn good too. So, but when you're in a bear market, the month of September has been historically pretty rough. We'll see how the candles turn out. I mean, we don't want to get the cart in front of the horse here, but there's enough days in the month where it could turn around and go red, but I don't see it being disastrous. So I think we're in okay shape as far as that goes. And I think it was was it a Jewish holiday that ended or something like that?
I think is it the
I don't.
I'm just gonna mess it up and disrespect people by accident. So
well,
I'm not gonna say
we don't want to upset anybody. So
yeah.
But anyway, I think things are looking better. They're going to turn around. When they turn around. But now's I think we need to focus on not so much, well, when's it going to get better, but now's the time to be getting in. And now's the time to be DCAing and taking advantage of it more than when's it going to get better.